Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Becca. I make bookish, writing, lifestyle content, so definitely consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. Today I want to share with you some of my highly anticipated fall book releases. I'm curious to know which of these you're most excited about, so definitely let me know down below. I have 10 books that I'm super excited about. So the first one being Alchemized by Sen-Lin Yu. This book has a very interesting backstory. This started as a beloved fanfiction, Draco and Hermione fanfiction, which I'm like not a big Harry Potter person. There's been so many Draco and Hermione fanfictions that are being turned into traditionally published books, which is interesting. This is one of the only interpretations that I think I'm actually excited about. This is Sen-Lin Yu's dark fantasy debut. In the story, you're following Helena, who is a prisoner of war, and the world that she has known her whole life, including her friends and her allies, have all been brutally murdered. Helena has no memory of the last few months leading up to her capture, so the new ruling class are curious if she's as insignificant as she seems. In order to uncover her lost memories, they end up sending her to one of the most powerful necromancers estate, and there she must fight to protect her own memory, her identity, while also trying to uncover the truth and secrets about her prison and her captor. I thought this sounded super interesting. I think the concept is really good. People love this fan fiction so much that they like print it out and bind it into a physical book. It is extremely popular. I'm excited to see what all the hype is about. I'll be curious how people who read the fan fiction, how similar it is to the traditionally published work. This is all a very interesting and new area of literature, which is going to be like my first traditionally published fan fiction interpretation. So I will let you know how it goes. This comes out in September. I also believe it's coming in a future subscription box that I have, so I'm excited about that as well. I will keep you posted on my thoughts for this book once I get my hands on it. Next is Fallen City by Adrienne Young. I love Adrienne Young. I've read quite a few of her books already, and I absolutely love them. In this story, you're following two characters named Luca and Maris. Both of them have played very unique roles in the political landscape of this walled city called Asara, but when a secret comes to light, the city is sort of thrown into chaos, and Luca and Maris are sort of forced to come together and form a strategic alliance. Luca ends up becoming the symbol of rebellion that's hundreds of years in the making, and because of that, now Luca and Maris are torn between two different sides of the Holy War. As their paths start to diverge, they soon come to find out that the story that the gods have written kind of leaves them at the center. So there's a lot going on in this book, and I'm very excited to see how Adrienne Young tackles it. It kind of is giving Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross sort of a similar vibe, and I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm very excited to see how this story is going to turn out. Next is And the River Drags Her Down by Ji Yun Yun. I think I'm saying that correctly. I don't know, I'm sorry. This is one that I discovered while researching upcoming books that are being released, and this one just sounds super fun. So in this story, you're following Sujin, and when Sujin's sister Mireille is found mysteriously drowned in the river, she sort of ignores all of her ancestral knowledge and decides to use her magic to bring her sister back to life. At first, the sisters are overjoyed with the fact that they are together and reunited again, but Mireille is tired of hiding herself from the world. Again, she was dead. She then starts to become enthralled with the idea of solving the mystery that made her family fall apart so many years ago, and she is now out for revenge. So when their town starts to become engulfed in very strange and problematic weather, people are dying in mysterious ways, Sujin starts to realize that maybe the sister that she brought back isn't the same sister that she's known her whole life. Speaking of my favorite author, Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross is coming out, and I am so excited. Early reviews of this are already super positive, and it's Rebecca Ross. I've never read anything by her that I haven't absolutely loved, and this is kind of in the same world as Divine Rivals, which again was one of my favorite books when it came out. And in this, you're following Matilda, who is the youngest goddess in her clan, and she's known for delivering messages across different realms. The world that they live in is very brutal, where gods are constantly overthrowing each other, killing each other for power, and forging and breaking alliances seemingly on a daily basis. To ensure her survival, Matilda is holding on to a secret that not even her closest allies know. Not to mention, on top of that, there is a mortal boy who dreams of her that she has never met before. This boy being Vincent, and he has forgotten all about Matilda, the goddess who he had previously prayed for help many, many years ago, until one day when she stumbles through his bedroom window to deliver him a letter that's addressed to him. There are so many things to this story that is such a simplified version of this. This is one of my most highly anticipated books of the fall, and I cannot wait to read it. Next is Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. In this story, you're following a young boy named Evander who's been living with his reclusive billionaire guardian, Byron Byron Lennox Hall since he was a child. Ever since he's been living there, there are 3 rules that he has to follow. Never leave the estate, never go into the garden, and to never be alone with his grandson Laurie. And the 3rd rule came about because Laurie tried to kill Evander like 7 years ago. So being alone might be a bit problematic. His guardian Byron suddenly dies. Evander inherits the entire estate and all of Byron's familial wealth. I'm jealous. But Evander is very sure that Byron was killed, and Laurie might be the only person to help him actually find the killer before the killer comes for him. As they start to unravel their family's dark secrets and the growing horror of their bloodthirsty garden, Evander is trying to find the killer while also understanding what is he truly inheriting, and they want to figure that out before the garden demands to be fed again. It's giving like botanical horror, and I'm actually obsessed with that. So it's gonna be incredible. I already know it. On a lighter note, let's talk about a romance book. I typically am not reading a lot of romance, but there is one author who I will pick up their books as like a really fun like romance palette cleanser, and that's Lila Sage. She is coming out with a brand new book in a brand new series called Sweetwater Peak, and the book that is being released is called Soul Searching. In the story, you're following Collins, who has left behind her hometown of Sweetwater Peak and had no intention of ever going back, but when she finds out that a developer is trying to buy her family antique shop, that is the excuse she needs to go back home. What her family doesn't know is that she's out of a job, she's out of money, and her ghostly companions that keep her company have gone quiet. Suspicious. When Brady decides to let Colin stay in his spare bedroom, he didn't realize that she was like that crazy. Okay, she's talking to herself, she's having conversations with people who aren't there, and she's beautiful, obviously, but she's a little strange. But of course, as they begin to grow closer and lines begin to blur, maybe some of these ghosts have been pushing them together all along. And maybe this temporary arrangement might be a little bit more permanent than they were anticipating. Lila Sage writes the easiest, bingeable romance books that I love. This next one might be the book I'm most excited for, and I'm gonna submit it for my book club because I really want us to read it together. We'll see if they vote on it, but it sounds hilarious and amazing, and it's called Crafting for Sinners by Jenny Kiefer. In the story, you're following a girl named Ruth who is trapped in her small religious hometown, living paycheck to paycheck. She's not having a good time. After her manager finds out that she's living with her girlfriend, she is fired from the craft store that she works at, which also happens to be owned by the church that sort of runs the town. As sort of like an act of rebellion, she decides to steal some yarn from the craft store and gets caught red-handed. However, instead of calling the police, they decide to lock her in the craft store and attack her. So now Ruth has to fight for her life with craft supplies that are available to her in the store, while also trying to unravel the dark secrets that this church has been keeping and is potentially a huge threat to the entire town. So, enough said. Guys, there are so many good books. There are so many good books coming out. I do not have enough time to read all of these books, but I'm gonna try my darndest because every time I read the synopsis of one of these books, I get so excited. Next is The Night That Finds Us All by John Horner Jacobs, which I thought was funny. John Jacobs, Jingleheimer Schmidt. But he had to throw Horner in there, so that's not gonna go. Anyways, this one was, again, one that I recently discovered as I was researching just books that were coming out. And I love sailing, I love pirates, I love like seafaring, I love it all. That is like such a vibe to me. And this one seems like it's gonna be fun. In this one, you're following a girl named Sam, who's a troubled sailor who's down on her luck. She doesn't have enough money to fix up her own boat and get it back out on the water. But when a former crewmate asks her to help deliver passage of a 100-year-old sailboat from Seattle to England, she jumps at the opportunity because the money is good. This boat is super old. Like I said, it's 100 years old and it's most definitely haunted, but as they make way on their journey, some weird things start to happen. A crew member disappears and another has been in a gruesome accident. And now she knows that this simple delivery job has now spiraled into something a little bit more sinister. I thought this one sounded so fun. I love the unique setting and I've never read anything like it, so I'm very excited for this one. Next is Hole in the Sky by Daniel Wilson, and I'm really excited about this one because this is like a Native American first contact story, which again, enough said, but I will tell you the synopsis. You're following multiple characters throughout this story. You're following a down on his luck single father named Jim who lives in the Great Plains of Oklahoma in the heart of Cherokee Nation, and he's just trying to connect with his teenage daughter when he sees something unexpected. Then at NASA headquarters in Houston, Texas, you're following an astrophysicist, Dr. Michaela Johnson, who observes a strange interaction with Voyager 1 on the other side of the solar system. And from that, she concludes concludes that something enormous and unidentified is headed directly towards Earth. And then lastly, in a bunker in an undisclosed location within the United States, an American threat forecaster, who's only known as the man downstairs, intercepts a very cryptic communication and sends a message directly to the president that first contact is imminent. I'm super excited. Those are 3 extremely unique and interesting POVs, and I am so excited. And then lastly, the 3rd book in the Sworn Soldier series by T. Kingfisher, What Stalks the Deep, is going to be released. You're continuing to follow our beloved Alex Easton as he travels to America to help out an old friend who we have met before, to help them find their missing cousin who is probably lost in an old abandoned coal mine in Appalachia. So yeah, I won't say much because, you know, this is a series. You gotta read them. They're super short, super quick, super fun, perfect for fall, perfect for spooky season. The first book was more fungal horror. The second one had a supernatural element. And so I'm very excited to see what T. Kingfisher has in store for us with this 3rd installment. So make sure to let me know which of these are you most excited and intrigued about. I honestly cannot wait to get my hands on these books. Unfortunately, my TBR is getting longer and longer by the day, and this is not helping. It is not helping at all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!